How often should you be working out every week? Is it every day? Is it a few times a week? Is there anything wrong with exercising 7 days a week? And could it be bad for your muscles if you do that? On today's episode of the Exercise is Health podcast, Julie and I dive into this topic to discuss the notion that is so often portrayed of, well, maybe you need to take some days off from working out in order to have it be beneficial. We're going to cue the intro song and then we're going to jump right into this conversation. Welcome to the Exercise is Health podcast, where we're talking about exercise, health, and the interconnectedness of the two. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we will be coming to you every single week from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Exercise is Health podcast. We are your hosts, Charlie
and Julie,
and we're coming to you from our studio, Muscle Activation Schaumburg, here in Schaumburg, Illinois. Now, at Muscle Activation Schaumburg, we believe your health is your most valuable asset, and it is our belief that the single best thing that you can do to both boost and protect this asset is exercise, specifically exercise that's geared towards improving the health and function of your muscles. Now, so often when people exercise, they do it for a number of different reasons that do not include improving the health and function of your muscles. And oftentimes, this is where some of the negative effects of exercise can start to creep up and start to come in. So today, we want to discuss this and talk about exercising every single day, and what effect that might have on your muscles, depending on how you do it.
just from hearing the introduction to this podcast, you're probably assuming what Charlie and I are going to say. Like, yeah, we should have days we work out and we should have rest days, right? Because that is what is commonly accepted in the fitness industry. I want to take a step back from this statement and talk about something that actually Charlie and I were just talking about yesterday, and I was actually confronted with this idea last week by another professional in the health field, and that is the stress that exercise puts on your body. So I was talking to another health-related professional, and just a few days ago, we were talking to a different health-related professional, and they both expressed how they were going to do something, but they had to take a break from exercise since exercise is such a stressor. And we have to alleviate some of the physical stressors while they were doing the other thing. These things that the other people were doing were based on recovery. One was a weight loss program. And so, the logic was, since exercise is stressful, we need to take a break from it so that our body can focus on something else, like recovery, again, weight loss. People use this all the time. Or you'll hear something like, well, exercise is stressful and I want to be focusing on this aspect of my health, so I'm going to take a break from the exercise since it's so stressful. And you're probably thinking, okay, Julie, you've said that since it's so stressful so many times. But I'm saying that on purpose because that is the notion that we all believe about exercise. Even people in the fitness industry, even myself. I mean, that's how I felt for a really long time. And I was like certified personal trainer. I was like all the certifications you need to have plus more to be a trainer. And I also believe this. Yeah, exercise is a stress. People come to see me so that I can regulate that stress. Have you ever considered that exercise can also be a stimulant? Have you ever thought that the food, even healthy food, is somewhat of a stress to your body? Everything you do to your body is oftentimes a stressor. I think I can probably eliminate maybe sleep. But again, I'm not a professional at sleep, but most things that we do to promote our health is some way a stressor. But exercise, for some reason, always gets lumped into the category of it's stressful. So if I'm going to do something else that I want to focus on my health, I'll probably take a break from exercise. So we need to talk about that to start, because that is what leads us to that idea that I had mentioned before, that you're probably assuming that Charlie and I are going to say, yes, you should exercise some days and you should not exercise some days because, or remember, since exercise is a stress, we have to expose ourselves to the stress sometimes and then not expose ourselves to the stress sometimes.
Yeah, what I really liked that you said, the word that really stuck out to me was regulate. You said, okay, exercise is a stress and people come to me so I can help regulate that stress, right? And yes, exercise is certainly a stress to the body, but how it's performed, how it's done, the dosage of that stress determines whether or not it's actually stressful or, like you're saying, Julie, it's actually a stimulant to the body in terms of boosting the recovery, boosting the function of the body. I remember the summer of 2013, I wrote a blog post article that said, exercise is a stress. And the whole thing was about talking about how if a client comes to you, I was taking the perspective of a trainer and kind of writing it for other trainers, that if a client comes to you and they say, oh, you know what, I went away for the weekend and binged on all my favorite foods. I was up really late, partied, drank a whole bunch. I know I consumed way more calories than I should have. And if you as a trainer are hearing that and you're thinking, okay, well, that means we need to burn all those off. Or if you as the doer of exercise is thinking, you know what, this past weekend, I ate some pizza, I had a sundae, I ate all the foods I knew I shouldn't have. So now I need to go and I need to burn those off. You need to understand that all those things that you did put your body in a more stressed state. And so you need to dose your exercise accordingly. And that was kind of the point of the article that I was writing, is like, because I was getting so sick of hearing this idea of like, oh, I ate Cheetos this weekend, so my trainer really pushed me on Monday. It's like, that is completely irresponsible. And if you're not hiring a trainer and you're doing that to yourself as an exercise participant, I'm just going to call you out. That's completely irresponsible. Now, you might not know any different, so it may not be your fault, but that is what we want to tell you about today, is that exercise doesn't have to be that way. And there are so many health benefits that hinge on your ability to exercise on a consistent basis, that doing exercise in such a stressful manner can actually decrease your health.
Absolutely. The summation of what we just said is that exercise, yes, is a stress, but we can use that stressor to, yes, fatigue your body, break down your body. And that is normally what we qualify as exercise, whether that's extreme breakdownage or very minimal breakdownage. Or we can use it as a way to boost recovery, boost function, boost muscle health, joint health. And we almost never think about exercise in this manner. So when we go back to this idea of, is it good or healthy or detrimental to my health to be exercising every day? The answer is absolutely not. And if you're using this stress and regulating the stressors, meaning you're being intentional about what you're doing, what you're exposing your body to, what environment you're putting your body into, I believe it's the most beneficial thing you could do daily for your muscles, joints, health, metabolic health, hormonal health, as long as you're dosing it appropriately. And that is the main point. So again, we have to move away from this idea that exercise is a stressor and it is an extreme stressor. It is a stressor, but we have to also, again, learn that this stressor can be applied to promote health and healing. It can also be applied to promote detriment and breakdown of your body. Just like if you think about nutrition, like we absolutely have to eat to survive. You have to consume energy, what we call calories, to survive. Now you can use that opportunity of energy consumption to break your body down by eating foods that are not healthy, not natural, things that you know make you feel crappy, and are breaking down your digestive tract and promoting unhealthy digestion or not turning into the macronutrients that you're needing. Or you can use that energy consumption exposure to boost your health by eating the right foods. So exercise really can be used in this same way. We can use it to break down our body, to stress out our body, to just really, really challenge our body. And again, that can be in an extreme way or a not very extreme way. Or we can use it to strategically try to stimulate it to move in the right direction, heal when it needs to heal, boost functionality when it needs to boost functionality. And by the way, there are benefits from exercise that you get that you cannot get by not exercising. And it can't be replaced by other healthy habits like meditation, which is amazing for your health, but not a replacement for exercise. Sleep, which is amazing for your health, but can't replace exercise. Nutrition, amazing for your health, again, cannot be replaced by exercise. So we really have to be looking at this dosage and how we're using it.
Now, where this conversation goes in my head is something that we discuss called the 2 types of exercise. And the 2 types of exercise that we bring up is exercise that uses your body and exercise that builds or rebuilds your body. And too often, the entire world is focused solely on exercise that uses your body. So in that regard, it's no wonder that the question of, well, can I exercise every single day comes up, because if you are just doing exercise that uses and uses and uses and uses your body, that means you're doing exercise that depletes your body. At some point, your body's going to say, yeah, I can't do this anymore. And oftentimes in people's exercise journeys, they've hit that point, and they may have hit it a year ago. They may have hit it a decade ago. They may have hit it 3 decades ago. And that's usually when people start to find us. And that's when we start to teach them about how to do exercise that builds or rebuilds your body. And that's a kind of exercise that you can do every single day for the rest of forever. That's our exercise for life method. That's a process that we call the exercise for life method. Being able to use exercise every single day for the rest of forever to build the health and function of your body so you can keep doing all the things in life that bring you joy for as long as you want to do them.
So I want to tell you about me because, I'm a professional at me since I live in my own body. But I want to tell you about my exercise. There's 2 ways that I really love to move my body. Actually, there's 3. I'm going to say 3. Number 1, I love cycling. You guys know those bikes that, have the small seats. It's kind of a fad right now, but I've loved cycling for a really long time. I started in college. I just love it. I think it's fun. There's great music. That's my thing. I also love to dance. So 2 really great ways to move. And I also love walking outside. Those are 3 ways I love to move. And you're probably thinking right now, great, Julie, those are cool options. You can dance, cycle, walk. There's different options of intensity right there. Those are all examples of using your body when you exercise. Now, remember what Charlie had just said. Using your body is like, I'm using my body to achieve whatever the cycling class was doing, or to do the movements that the dance teacher was teaching or choreographing. Or I want to walk for 20 minutes, so I'm using my body to achieve the 20-minute walk. There are health benefits to that, right? I cycle, I get some great cardio pump. There's these different hormonal changes that happen with exercise. But again, I'm thinking about the music, the class, the movements, and it's fun. It keeps me motivated, all that stuff. But I also have to pair all this using exercise with building exercise. And building exercise is going to be my slow, controlled, intentional weight training. And guess what? I like doing that. I don't love it. Like, I enjoy it. I'm probably not like a weight training hater. I do really love feeling strong, using my muscles, blah, blah, blah. I would say Charlie loves to lift weights, so he kind of gets to bias that. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I would prefer to cycle, walk, and dance and leave out the weight training. But what I've found over the years, and by the way, I'm still pretty young. I think I'm younger than most of our listeners and almost all my clients. I've already felt the effects of not doing the building stuff, because we have to be building our bodies and building our muscles, joints, and the function of those to be able to continue to do the stuff that we enjoy doing. And maybe your list isn't cycling, dancing, and walking. Maybe it's tennis or pickleball or riding your bike on the beach or beach runs or traveling and being able to follow the tour group. That is using your body. That's doing stuff with your body that you want to use. But again, when we're thinking about, okay, we got to moderate these stressors. If the only things I ever did was cycle, dance, and walk, then I would be always kind of overstressing my body, because the goals of those are to achieve the outcome of the class or the route that I'm taking. It is not the intention of building the body.
So to kind of frame this in your head when you're listening right now, I want to give you kind of 3 categories that will help more clearly define exercise that uses your body versus exercise that builds or rebuilds your body. And the first is the kind of long-term goal. The long-term goal of exercise that uses your body is all very external stuff, meaning over the course of the next 3 months, I want to be able to increase my leg press by 50 pounds. I want to be able to run a 5K. Even from a weight loss perspective, I want to be able to drop 20 pounds, whatever it is, okay? It's all stuff that is external, where you're using your body to accomplish that goal. Versus exercise that builds or rebuilds your body, the kind of long-term focus is on improving and maintaining your health and function. Hey, when I'm 60, when I'm 70, when I'm 80, I want to be able to do XYZ. I want to be able to travel. I want to, like Julie was saying, I want to be able to keep up with the tour group. I want to be able to get down and up off the floor. And my exercise needs to help me do that, okay? So it's all about, all right, how can I use my exercise to build the health and function of my body so then I can use my body to do those things? So then the second point is, all right, what is the short-term goal? So that was a long-term goal. What's the short-term goal? And from a short-term goal, I'm talking like, what is the goal of today, this workout? Is the goal of this workout to burn calories? Is the goal of the workout to complete the class? Is the goal of the workout to do all the sets and reps that have been assigned to you? Those are all very external things. Again, you're going to use your body to do all those things. Or is the goal of the workout to, say, improve the function of your leg muscles, to improve the function of your core and trunk muscles, to improve the health and function of your brain, okay? Do you say, all right, you know what? I'm going to do my exercise in this manner, so the outcome is my brain functions better. So the outcome is my muscles function better. What is your short-term goal, i.e. the goal of your workout today? And so is it more external, using your body, or internal, building or rebuilding your body? And then the third category is, what is happening right now in this moment? Where's your focus? And what's the intention while you're doing the exercise? So it's long-term, which is months, years, decades from now. Short-term, which is today, this workout, and then intention, which is this moment right now. Where's your focus? For using your body, let's say that if you're doing a squat, oftentimes people's focus is standing up with the bar, like doing the exercise, okay? If they are running, their focus might be on, moving their arms and legs, or on trying to, get through the next half mile or whatever it is. But again, it's all very external stuff. Versus when you're doing exercise that builds or rebuilds your body, your focus right now is on stuff that's going on within your body. Meaning, if you're doing a squat, your focus is not on doing the motion of the squat, but on squeezing your muscles, or on trying to develop a greater sense of your muscles squeezing. It becomes, instead of the goal of the exercise and the goal of this moment is not the external thing of completing the rep, but rather internal of connecting with your body and challenging the inside of your body.
I think that last point, Charlie, is the most foreign to people. And I think that's where we spend most of our time talking to clients about it and reminding people during sessions of, okay, how's it feeling right now? How's it feeling right now? What's happening with your quads? And people are like, this is so detail focused, but that's what we want your brain thinking about. Because I think we can all think, oh yeah, I exercise because, I want to be healthy when I get old, or I exercise because I want to feel good today. It makes me feel good. A lot of people say, well, once I'm done, I feel good. And I don't know if that's just the accomplishment or their exercise actually feels good. Either way, whatever. But the most foreign to people is, again, that internal focus of intention. Because again, remember, we're talking about, some exercise is about using your body. Let's do stuff. Let's have fun, because we want you to have fun. That's why you're exercising. Well, that's why you're going to hopefully do the building of your body part, so that you can go snowshoeing, you can travel, you can, do your tennis class or dance or cycle like I like to do. This internal focus when you're exercising to build your body is like the insurance policy. It's like the weekly, I got to work on this so that my knee stays functional, so that when I get on the cycle bike, it's the best it's going to be. Or I've got to do this so that my core stays strong, so that next time I'm dancing, I can do all those big motions that I want to do and not get hurt. We could go on and on. You probably get the point by now. But I think one thing we have to also go back to is, I think the easiest way, the most straightforward way, and it is so easy and straightforward that it's actually the only way that I talk to my clients about doing this building exercise, because I'm like, just do this and then we won't have to brainstorm all the millions of other ideas and ways that you could possibly do this, because it's so easy and straightforward, is to use it in a weight training style, meaning when you're doing your weight training exercises. It is very difficult to take a cycle class or a run that you're going to go on and be like, okay, today I'm going to work on ankle dorsiflexion while I run. By the way, I'm distracted by a million things. I'm trying not to get hit by a car, and it's pretty fatiguing. It's very difficult to work on function and thinking internally when you're in that environment. But it is so much easier to focus on that kind of thought process when you're in a gym or you're in a separated time from your life where you're just focusing on that exercise or that muscle stimulation or that joint motion or that area of your body, however specific you're able to be at this time. Yes, the easiest, most straightforward way to use exercise to build your body is going to be during weight training. And now remember, we're presenting this idea and we know we're presenting it to an audience, which is you guys, which you guys are part of the general population. And the general population often believes, again, that exercise is a stressor, right? It's too much. And I think because this is the story we're taught. And once I say it, you're going to nod your head and be like, yep, that's the story I know. Okay, this is the story. How do you build muscle and how do you make improvements on your body? You go to the gym or your downstairs gym or whatever you have available. You lift weights, you exercise, and you work it hard enough so that you feel it the next day, because that means you did some micro tears and slight damage. You don't want to do too much, but slight damage. And then the following day, you take a rest day, or at least you rest those muscle groups because, you've damaged them. So now they need a rest. And you have to work other stuff or don't work anything at all. So then eventually, maybe in 2 or 3 days, you're not feeling sore at all. And then you can return back to exercise. And that story makes sense to us, right? You guys have heard that, I think, right? It's not just me and Charlie. I know you guys have heard that. That is where we get this idea that the way you get benefit from exercise is by stressing out your body enough to create some kind of damage. And that's a story we know. So that story is the way that many people use weight training. And that's what we see, in bodybuilding, in, things like CrossFit. So these are like external big people that are like hardcore working out, right? It's like, this is the way that we've been presented as exercise. This is how we've learned exercise, is it has to be stressful enough to create damage for us to improve. So those are people that are using weight training to use their body. You can use the using your body exercise, like the cycling, the dancing, the traveling, the crossfitting, the overdoing the weight training. Those are all using your body. But we can also, and I have to tell you a new story, is that you get to get improvements on your body without doing those small amounts of damage that we qualify as good, that create soreness. You don't have to be sore, create inflammation, or create micro tears, is what usually we call it, micro tears in your muscles, to actually get improvements on your exercise. And that is why using your exercise to build your body can work. But you have to change how you're exercising, and you have to change how you're using your weight training, because weight training, again, is just so straightforward and easiest way to be building your body.
Okay, so we have presented a lot in this episode. We're actually going to have to break this topic down into a few different parts. And the reason is because we still have a lot more to cover about why exercising every day may or may not be a bad thing for your health, depending on how you do it. So next week, we're going to pick up right where we left off, talking about, again, using your body with exercise versus building or rebuilding your body with exercise, how that relates to being able to exercise consistently and how that relates to your health overall. So who do you know that needs to hear this episode? Who do you know that is thinking that, okay, every time I exercise, I need to take a few days off because my body is feeling so achy, so beat up, so sore. There's just no way that I could exercise every single day or not with any type of consistency. Share this episode with with them so they can start to learn about some different perspectives on how they could be exercising that may allow them to exercise on a more frequent basis and a more consistent basis. And while you're online, head on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. It helps people find this podcast when they're looking for information on exercise and they're looking for information on health. So if you found value in this conversation today, let us know by leaving us that 5-star rating and review. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Have a fantastic week. We'll talk with you all next week. Hey there, it's Charlie again. One last thing. I want to let you in on a secret project that I've been working on for quite some time now. I am planning on releasing a book by the middle of summer 2021. But here's the thing, because I'm self-publishing this book, there's only going to be a limited number of copies available at any given time. So to learn more about this book and to be one of the first to find out when this book actually gets released, what I need you to do is go to exerciseforlifemethod.com. There you'll find out more information as well as some exclusive bonuses that I'm offering just for simply staying in the loop with what's going on with this book. So to learn more and claim your bonuses, go to exerciseforlifemethod.com, enter in your information, and you'll be automatically kept up to date. Learn all about the book and bonuses at exerciseforlifemethod.com. This podcast is for information purposes only. The statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Julie and Charlie Gates, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements or advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical issue, consult a licensed physician.